The room felt too quiet now. Jason sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the empty desk across from him. That desk used to belong to Leo, his best friend, his roommate, and the one person who understood him better than anyone else. Leo had moved. Away last week, not just to another city. He had left Earth. A scholarship from the Galactic Unity program had taken him to the star. Academy on planet Calvarus 5. It was an opportunity people only dreamed of. Jason had smiled when Leo told him the news. He had even helped him pack. But now the silence was heavy. The air in the room didn't move. The lights didn't feel warm anymore. Jason tried listening to music, tried watching old movies they both loved, but it wasn't the same without Leo there to laugh beside him or throw popcorn at the screen. Every evening, Jason opened the message. App. He stared at Leo's name. The text box waited. But he didn't type. What would he say? Hey, I miss you. Would that make him sound weak, or worse? Would it make Leo feel guilty? Jason knew he shouldn't feel this way. Leo was chasing his dream. He was doing something amazing. But the truth was simple. Jason felt left behind. And alone. One night Jason went for a walk. The stars were bright in the sky, scattered like diamonds on black velvet. Somewhere up there, Leo was flying between them, learning new things, meeting aliens, changing the world. Jason sat on a bench and looked up. He remembered how he and Leo used to lie on the grass, imagining shapes in the stars. You think we'll ever get up there? Leo had asked once. We will, Jason had said. We're human. We always find a way. That memory made him smile, just a little. He took a deep breath. The air was cold, but it helped clear his mind. The next morning, Jason went back to the university lab. He had almost stopped going. Without Leo, the energy just wasn't the same. But today, he felt something different. Spark. Maybe it was. The memory. Maybe it was just time. He opened the AI prototype they had worked on together. It had been their dream to create a translator for unspoken feelings, something that could understand the emotions. Behind silence, they had called it. Echo. Jason powered it up. The screen flickered, then came to life. Hello, Jason, the voice said. How are you feeling today? Jason laughed softly. Lonely, he said, but maybe hopeful. The AI paused. Would you like me to send a message to Leo? Jason hesitated, and he nodded. He didn't write a long message, just a few words. Hey, I miss you. Hope you're okay. I'm working on Echo again. He hit send. Then he waited. An hour passed. Then 2. Then his screen blinked. A message came in. Jason, I miss you too. I've been thinking about Echo. I showed it too. A teacher here, she said it's brilliant. Let's work on it together. Long distance, like we always planned. You didn't get left behind. We're just on different paths, but still side by side. Jason read the message again and again. The room still felt quiet. But now it wasn't. Empty, it was full of hope. Asterisk. Jason kept the reply open on his screen all night. He didn't even notice the time pass. Leo's words felt warm, like sunlight through a window after days of cold rain. Jason reread the message again before finally falling asleep. When morning came, the loneliness didn't hurt as much. It was still there like a shadow, but now it felt different, smaller, manageable. Jason walked through the university campus, passing by the coffee shop where he and Leo used to study. The chairs were still in the same place. The barista still smiled and gave him a knowing nod. But something inside him had shifted. He opened his tablet and started working on Echo again. It was their dream project. A machine that didn't just translate words, but feelings. Something to help people say what they couldn't find the words for. Jason remembered Leo's excitement when they first began working on it. Imagine an alien who doesn't speak at all, Leo had said. Echo could tell us what it feels just from its brain signals or body rhythm. Or imagine a friend, Jason had added, who's too sad to speak. That part had always stayed with him. Now, alone but not forgotten, Jason worked with quiet focus. He adjusted Echo's emotional sensors and rewrote the code so it could better read human voice tone. He tested it on himself. He spoke words in different ways, happy, tired, scared and watched how Echo responded. It wasn't perfect, but it was learning. Later that evening, he sent Leo a new message. Echo can now recognize emotions in real time. It even asked me if I was okay when I sighed. He paused, then added, I think it missed you too. A few hours later, Leo replied with a short video. He was sitting in a small room with a curved window behind him. Through it, stars shimmered, and a soft blue planet spun in the distance. Leo's smile was wide. Jason, this is incredible. Showed your update to my alien linguistics class. They were amazed. One of them, a being named Vorok, said humans are the only ones who try to feel first, then understand. Leo leaned closer to the screen. You know what that means, right? Our emotions, ... our empathy, ... They're not weaknesses. They're our strength. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us special. Jason watched the video 3 times. He felt a strange pull in his chest. Not sadness this time. Not quite joy either. Something new. Pride. Maybe this was what it meant to be human. Not always having the right words, but still trying. Still caring. Still building bridges, even across the stars. The next day, Jason joined a live discussion group with alien students from Leo's academy. They had heard about Echo. Some of them didn't speak with sound. One had color-changing skin to express thoughts. Another used scent. Jason felt nervous at first. What could he say to beings so different? But when he spoke about Echo, they listened. Not just with their ears, but with their hearts. They asked questions. They nodded. One alien even said, you humans are strange, but you understand sadness better than we ever could. That makes you strong. Jason smiled. That night, he messaged Leo again. You were right. We're not just another species. We're the ones who connect through feelings. I think Echo might help the galaxy understand that. Leo's reply came quickly. Exactly. And I'm proud to do this with you. Even if we're far apart, we're still on this journey together. Jason looked up at the stars. He didn't feel alone anymore. He felt part of something bigger, something human. And he believed that even across the galaxy, emotions could still echo loud and clear. Asterisk, the stars looked the same each night. But Jason felt something changing inside. Even though he and Leo talked often now, Jason still felt a space between them. It wasn't because of the distance. It was something harder to name. He missed the small things. Leo's laugh when a machine broke down in the lab. The way he'd spin his pencil when thinking. The way they didn't even need to speak sometimes, just a look was enough. Now their calls were short. Sometimes Leo didn't reply for a whole day. Jason told himself it was fine. Leo was busy. He was studying among aliens. He had new friends. But sometimes in the quiet moments, Jason asked himself, am I still as important to him as he is to me? One evening, Jason sat on the floor with Echo. The machine's little screen glowed a soft blue. It had become like a friend to him. It didn't speak unless spoken to. It didn't ask questions he didn't want to answer. Jason sighed. Echo, he said softly, do you think people forget each other when they're far away? Echo paused. Then it replied in its calm voice, distance does not erase memory, but fear can create silence. Jason blinked. He hadn't expected that. Fear? He asked. Humans often fear they are no longer needed, Echo said, that their feelings are one-sided. This fear makes them quiet. But true bonds survive fear if they are honest. Jason smiled a little. That almost sounds like Leo. Later that night, Jason didn't open their usual chat window. Instead, he opened a new file. He began writing something, not a message. Not a report, but a story. It was about 2 friends who built a bridge across stars. One stayed on the ground, the other flew into space. The bridge was invisible. It was made of memories, laughter, and the promises they never spoke out loud. As Jason wrote, the sadness began to lift. He didn't know if he'd ever feel exactly the same again. But he knew the connection was still real. He didn't have to pretend everything was perfect. He just had to be honest. The next day, he sent Leo the story. No message, no explanation, just the file. He waited. No reply. Not that hour. Not that night. Jason felt the silence like a cold wind in his chest. But the next morning, he woke up to a voice note. It was Leo. "Jason," he said quietly. I read. "The story, every word." I cried. "I didn't mean to drift away. I didn't know how to be close when I'm so far. I thought maybe you were doing better without me." Jason sat up, heart pounding. Leo's voice continued. "But that story, it reminded me. We're still connected. You're still the reason I'm here. I've been showing Echo to my professors. They want us to present it together. Live you and me. We'll stream it across the galaxy." Jason wiped his eyes. Leo finished. "You haven't lost me. You've carried me this whole way. I just forgot to say it. But I feel it, always." Jason didn't need to reply right away. He didn't need to explain how much it meant, because Leo already knew. And that was the power of being human. It's not just building machines or crossing space, but holding on to each other, even through silence, and never giving up on the people who matter. The day of the Echo presentation was almost here. Jason sat in front of his screen, adjusting the settings. The live stream would connect Earth to Calvers 5, and millions of beings across the galaxy would watch. The idea felt unreal, just a few months ago. Echo was only a quiet project between two best friends. Now, it was about to speak for all of humanity. And yet Jason felt ... off. Leo was still far away. They had talked. They had shared stories. It still felt like something was missing. Jason had hoped the presentation would bring them closer again. But the more he worked, the more he realized how big the distance still felt. Not in space, but in time. In small details in the silence between their messages. He looked out the window. The sky above Earth was dark, sprinkled with stars. Somewhere out there, Leo was probably looking at a different sky. Jason picked up his notebook. Inside were ideas, old doodles, jokes they had written during study breaks. He smiled at one drawing. Stick figure of Jason, holding Echo like a pet, and Leo standing next to a spaceship. Waving, Jason touched the page and whispered, "I miss you, man. Not just your voice I miss. ... us." The next day, Jason stood in the campus media room. The camera was ready. Echo was connected. People from Earth and alien planets were already logging in. A soft chime rang. Leo's face appeared on the big screen, lit from his Star Academy. He was smiling, but Jason noticed the tired eyes, a small hesitation in his voice. They greeted each other then. The presentation began. Jason spoke first. "Echo is a translator," he explained, "but not just of words. It reads feeling, emotion, the things we don't always say but still want to share." He gave a short demo. Echo listened to his tone as he read a sentence aloud. "I'm fine." Then Echo replied, "Detected emotion, sadness." The audience reacted. From species with no spoken language blinked, shifted colors, or moved their antennae. Many had never seen a human tool that listened so deeply. Leo continued from his end. "We humans are strange. We cry when we're happy. We laugh when we're nervous. Sometimes we don't know what we feel until someone asks. Echo doesn't just hear it, understands." Jason nodded, but something inside him still felt heavy. He wanted to say more. Not about the machine, but about what it meant. He looked directly into the camera. "This project started because I felt something I didn't know how to say," Jason said softly. "I missed my best friend. He moved far away and I didn't know how to tell him. Echo helped me say what I couldn't before." Leo stared at the screen. His smile faded, but not in a bad way. It turned into something deeper. "I missed you too," Leo said. "Just didn't know how to say it without sounding weak." Jason gave a small laugh. "That's the thing. Humans feel a lot, and we're not always good at hiding it." Then Echo's soft voice rang out between them. Detected emotion, hope, shared between both users. The audience was silent. Then, slowly, the alien viewers began to respond, some clapping, some shifting colors, some placing hands or tentacles on their hearts. After the stream ended, Jason stayed in the room, watching the replay. Leo called privately. "No cameras, no crowd. I'm not going anywhere," Leo said. Even if I'm light years away, you're still part of this. Jason smiled. I know, he replied. And I think the galaxy knows it too. We humans, we don't give up. Not on people, not on feelings. And for the first time, the distance between them didn't feel like space. It felt like something they had. Cross-dashed together. Asterisk days passed after the Echo presentation. The galaxy was still talking about it. News networks on Earth and across alien systems showed clips of Jason and Leo's honest words. Emotion is strength, one headline read. Humans don't hide the heart, read another. Jason should have felt proud. But something inside him still felt ... Quiet Leo hadn't messaged in 2 days. It wasn't new, he was often busy. But this time, Jason noticed the silence more than usual. After the presentation, he had thought their bond would feel stronger than ever. Instead, the silence now echoed louder. One evening, Jason sat alone in the lab. Echo rested on the table, its soft blue light glowing. Echo, Jason whispered, why does the heart still feel empty? Even after everything. The machine habbed, then it replied, because you are waiting. Waiting in silence feels longer than time. Jason looked down. He remembered all the times he wanted to send Leo a message, but stopped himself. What if Leo was busy? What if he didn't reply again? What if he had already moved on? Jason turned away from the screen. He hated feeling weak. But Echo spoke again. Do you wish to reconnect? Jason didn't speak. Echo continued. You feel sadness because you care. Humans care deeply. That is not weakness. That is your strength. Jason stared at it for a long moment. Then he opened a blank message. He didn't write anything complicated, just a few honest lines. I know we've both been busy, but I miss talking to you. Not for work, just as a friend. Just to laugh again. Paused, then added, it's okay if you don't reply right away. Just wanted you to know I still care. And he pressed send. The next morning, there was still no reply. Jason tried to stay busy. He met with other students, helped someone connect, echoed to a classroom on a moon colony, even gave a short interview. But his mind kept drifting back. Maybe Leo didn't feel the same way anymore. Maybe the connection had faded that evening. Jason walked to the same bench in the park where he and Leo once sat watching stars. He looked up again. The sky looked just like it did that first night after Leo left. Only now, Jason didn't feel quite so small. He had spoken. He had reached out. Even if nothing came back, he had tried. In trying, that was the human way. As he stood to leave, his tablet buzzed. A message. It was from Leo. I'm sorry, was the first line. I've been scared to reply. I didn't know what to say. You opened your heart, and I just ... froze. Jason sat back down, reading slowly. But not because I don't care. It's the opposite. I care so much that I didn't want to mess it up, and that's my mistake. I've been caught up in everything here, and I forgot the one thing that helped me reach this place, you. Jason's heart beat faster. I don't want distance to steal what we have. I want us to stay close, even if we're light years apart. If you're still willing, I'd like to start again. Jason smiled. His hands shook slightly as he typed back. Of course I'm still willing. You never lost me. The stars didn't feel so far now, in a galaxy filled with unknown creatures. In silent skies, one human spoke from the heart and was heard. That's what made them different. That's what made them human. Jason sat in the lab, watching the message from Leo, over and over. Every word brought warmth to his chest. Every sentence reminded him that he hadn't been forgotten. Their bond had survived silence, time, and space. Still, part of Jason was scared. What if it happened again? What if distance made them drift once more? That thought stayed with him like a small cloud on a sunny day. He looked at Echo, resting quietly on the table. The machine had become more than a project. It had become a voice when words were hard, a bridge when silence felt too wide. Jason turned. It unechoed, he said softly. Do you ever get tired of waiting? Echo blinked its blue light. I do not feel time like humans, it replied. I've learned that waiting for someone you care about is part of what makes humans. So unique. Jason smiled a little. Sometimes it hurts. That is also part of caring, Echo said. But hope grows from that hurt. You taught me that. Jason leaned back, thinking. Maybe that was why humans stood out in the galaxy, not because they were the smartest or strongest, but because they still reached out even when it hurt. A few days later, Jason was invited to a special event. An alien group called the Solari had heard of Echo. They were a peaceful species with glowing skin and musical voices. But they had a strange problem: they couldn't understand emotions in each other. They lived calmly, but also quietly. Feelings were kept inside, and because of that, their relationships were shallow. They asked Jason to bring Echo. He agreed. In the celery hall, soft lights danced across crystal walls. The aliens sat in circles, blinking gently. Jason stood at the center, feeling nervous. "Hello," he began. "I know we come from different worlds, but I believe we all feel the same things. Just don't always know how to say them." He placed Echo in the center and nodded to one of the Solari to come forward. The alien touched the machine and hummed a sentence in their musical tone. Echo glowed and spoke. Emotion detected, sadness, and a wish to be understood. Solari blinked in surprise. Another came forward. They spoke again. Echo translated. Emotion detected, longing, and regret. The circle of aliens shifted. Their light patterns changed. Slowly, they began speaking, softly, carefully. Echo continued. To translate, emotion detected, joy mixed with fear. Emotion detected, hope and love. Jason watched quietly for the first time. The Solari were hearing each other's hearts, not just their words. One Solari turned to him and asked, "How did you create something so powerful?" Jason smiled. "I didn't do it alone. I created Echo because I missed someone who moved far away. I didn't know how to say what I felt, but I still wanted to try." The Solari tilted their glowing head, and that is what humans do. They asked. "Yes," Jason said. "We keep trying, even when it hurts. That's our way." That night, Jason sent Leo a message. Echo helped a species talk about their feelings for the first time. "I think we're doing something bigger than we thought. We're not just fixing distance. We're changing how the galaxy connects," Leo replied. "I knew it. This is our human gift. We make bridges where others see walls. And we don't stop ever." Jason looked at Echo, quietly humming in the background. Then he looked at the stars. Outside, they didn't feel so far now. Not because space had shrunk, but because the human heart had reached farther than anyone thought. Possible asterisk. Jason stood on the balcony outside the lab. It was late evening. The stars above Earth twinkled like they always did, silent and distant. Somewhere out there, Leo was still working, still learning, still surrounded by people Jason had never met. Even after all their messages, video calls, and shared projects, Jason still felt it, that quiet sadness. It's not because Leo had done anything wrong, not because anything was broken, just because he missed being close. He missed the way they used to talk without thinking. The way Leo used to knock on the door just to share a random idea. The way they'd argue over pizza toppings and then laugh about it. Now every message had a delay. Every call had a scheduled time. It wasn't the same. And Jason didn't know how to say that without sounding ungrateful. Inside, Echo sat on the desk. Jason walked in slowly and turned it on. "Echo," he said quietly, "how do you tell someone that ... even though you talk often, you still feel far from them?" Echo blinked. "There is no perfect sentence," it said. "Only honest ones." Jason sat down. "But what if the truth makes them feel bad?" "Then it means they care," Echo replied. "And caring is the beginning of closeness again." Jason looked at the small machine. Even now, he whispered, "I still feel like something's missing. Would you like to try saying that to Leo?" Echo asked gently. Jason didn't answer right away. Then slowly, he opened the message window again. He typed, "Hey, can I be honest?" Then paused. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. He kept going. "Even though we talk, and even though I know you care, still miss the small things. Like the old days, Sometimes it makes me feel far away from you. I don't want to lose that closeness. I'm not asking for more messages or longer calls. I just wanted to say how I feel. That's all." He stared at the screen for a long moment. Then, with a deep breath, he hit send. Jason didn't expect an instant reply, so he walked to the campus garden, sat near the flowers bright and blooming, even under the night sky, round him soft. Lights glowed from nearby windows. For once, he didn't feel the need to fix anything. He had said what was in his heart. That was enough for now. An hour later, his tablet buzzed. It was Leo. The message was short. "Thank you for telling me. I've been feeling the same way. I just didn't know how to bring it up. I thought if I acted normal, it would go away. But you're right. It's okay to miss the old days. Maybe that's how we keep them alive. Let's plan something just us. Not a meeting. Not a project. Just to laugh like before." Jason felt something warm grow in his chest. Not everything had to be perfect. Not every message had to fix the distance. But this one brought them a little closer. A week later, they planned a shared game night connected through screens, laughing at silly moves, talking about memories, making new ones. No pressure, no deadlines, just them. For the first time in months, Jason didn't feel like he was talking to a screen. He felt like he was with his best friend again. After the call ended, Jason turned off the lights and sat in the soft glow of Echo's screen. "Echo," he said, "thanks for listening." Echo replied, "Thank you for feeling. That is what makes you human." Jason smiled, and in that quiet moment, under the stars, he knew something for sure. He hadn't lost anything. He had just learned to hold on in a new way. And that was hope, the kind only humans knew how to carry. It had been 2 weeks since the game night. Jason felt lighter, not because everything was perfect, but because he and Leo had found a new rhythm, one that felt real. They didn't talk every day, but when they did, it wasn't just about Echo or alien meetings. It was about jokes, memories, strange dreams, or random thoughts that didn't need to matter to anyone but them. Still, Jason had days where the distance hurt. He sat alone in the garden one evening, watching clouds pass in front of the stars. His tablet rested on his lap, screen off. The wind was soft, peaceful, but inside his thoughts were noisy. "I wish I could just see him," Jason whispered. "Even just for 5 minutes, not on a screen, just there." He picked up a small flower from the ground, fallen, but still bright. Sometimes, even when everything's okay, the heart still aches for what's not there. That was the human part, and that was okay, too. Jason returned to the lab later that night. There was a message from Leo, but it wasn't just a message. It was a surprise. A ticket, a pass, to visit the Galactic Academy for 1 week. Leo had spoken to his professors. They approved it. The transport ship would arrive in 3 days. Jason stared at the screen, frozen. Then he smiled. A smile that slowly grew until it reached his eyes. When the day came, Jason stood near the landing pad, his bag packed. Echo sat safely inside. He had never left Earth before. He was nervous, excited, scared, but more than anything he felt ready. The journey through space was quiet and smooth. The stars looked different from this side of the window, bigger, brighter, like they were welcoming him. When he landed, the doors opened and there was Leo, waiting with open arms. Neither of them spoke at first. They just hugged. Not a long one, just enough. Enough to say, "I missed you. I'm here now." The next few days were filled with simple moments, walking through alien gardens, meeting strange beings, eating food that sparkled, and laughing over how weird it tasted. But one night, they sat alone on the roof of Leo's dorm. No noise, just the stars again, now shared. Jason looked over. "It still feels strange," he said softly. "Being close after being far." Leo nodded. "Yeah, but it feels right too." Jason smiled. "It was hard, not knowing what to say. Feeling like I was losing something we never talked about? I know, Leo replied. I felt it too. They sat in silence for a while. Then Leo said, but we didn't lose it. We just had to learn a new way to hold on. Jason looked up. That's what being human is, right? Leo laughed. Yeah, messy, honest, but strong. Later, Echo sat on a table in front of a group of alien students. Jason gave a short talk about emotion. Not science. Not data. Just feelings, he said. Sometimes we think sadness is weakness, but it's just love we don't know where to put. The aliens nodded slowly. Even without faces, Jason could see they understood. That was the gift humans brought. They didn't hide what hurt. They shared it, and by sharing, they healed. On the last night, Jason stood by the window of his guest room. He didn't feel far anymore. He felt connected, not just to Leo, but to everything. And he knew that wherever he went, no matter the distance, his heart would know how to find its way back. That was his hope. That was his strength. That was humanity. Asterisk, the ship landed softly on Earth. Jason stepped out, his bag over one shoulder, and Echo tucked safely under his arm. The cool breeze of home touched his face, and he closed his eyes for a moment. He was back, but something felt different. Not wrong, just different. The trees, the streets, the buildings, they were all the same. But now they felt quieter, because Leo wasn't here. Over the next few days, Jason tried to return to his normal routine. He walked across campus, drank his favorite tea, and went back to the lab. Everyone welcomed him with smiles and questions. How was space? Did you meet any aliens? Is it true? Food floats up there? He smiled and answered gently. He even gave a talk about Echo's progress and how emotion was becoming a galactic language. But inside, a soft sadness followed him. It was like walking through a dream where everything looked right, but something important was just out of reach. That night, Jason sat on the bench near the old garden. The stars were above him, against calm and distant. He whispered, I wish I didn't have to keep saying goodbye. Later in his room, Jason turned on Echo. Echo, he asked quietly, why does coming home sometimes feel lonely? Echo replied, because part of your heart stayed behind. Jason nodded. I know I'm lucky, he said. I saw Leo. I saw space. I saw our work change lives, but now I'm here and he's not. And it hurts. Echo paused, then said, it is human to feel distance, even after closeness. But that pain is proof of love. It means the bond is still alive. Jason didn't answer. He just sat, listening to the soft hum of the machine. The next morning, Jason had an idea. Not to erase the sadness, but to share it. He began building something new. He called it Echo Lida Smaller. Personal version of Echo, designed not to translate words, but to hold messages filled with pure emotion. Users could send feelings, not just letters. A person could record a moment, joy, sorrow, hoping the device would carry the emotion clearly, like a bottled heart. He worked day and night, testing it, shaping it, and one evening, when the first prototype was ready, Jason recorded his first message. He didn't speak in it. He just smiled, laughed softly, and sat beside a son, set recording the feeling of peace, of missing someone deeply, and of love that stretched across space. He sent it to Leo. 2 days later, Leo replied with his own Echo-Light message. It was him, sitting under the twin moons of Calvers 5, holding a warm drink, his eyes soft. No words, just a look at deep, knowing look into feeling of closeness, sent across the stars. Jason watched it 3 times. He didn't cry, but something inside him healed. That night, he added a new feature to Echo Light, the heartbeat thread away, for 2 people to stay connected in silence. When one person felt something strong, the other would feel a soft warmth on their skin, like a silent tap on the shoulder, reminding them, you're not alone. Jason didn't fix the distance. He didn't stop the sadness, but he learned to live. with both and still keep loving. That was the human gift. Not to erase pain, but to hold it, share it, and build something beautiful from it. And the galaxy was beginning to understand. The galaxy was changing. Jason sat in his lab, watching messages flow in from Earth. From Calverus 5, from distant stars, Echo Light was no longer just a project, it had become a symbol of what humans had always known. That distance could not break a true connection. He looked at the small device glowing softly on his desk. It carried laughter from friends separated by light-years. It held tears from families missing each other. It shared hope in places where words were hard to find. A message came from Leo, this time. It was a simple voice note. "Jason," Leo said softly. "I was thinking about all this, the distance, the silence, the times I felt lost. But then I realized something." Jason leaned forward, listening carefully. Leo continued, "We're not just two friends trying to stay close. We're part of something bigger. Humans don't give up on people. We don't let distance win. Maybe that's why the galaxy is starting to listen." Jason smiled. "Yes," he said quietly. "We don't give up. That's our way. Cross the stars." Alien voices joined the human story. Species that never shared feelings before were now learning from Echo Light. They were sending their own messages. Sounds sense-carrying love and friendship in new ways. The galaxy was becoming smaller, closer, more human. One evening, Jason stood on Earth's rooftop, looking up at the sky. He thought about Leo. Looking at the same stars from calls, he thought about every person and every being who had learned to hold hope in their hearts. And he felt something deep inside, quiet pride. Not because humans were the strongest or smartest, but because humans never stopped reaching out, because humans never stopped caring, because even when the world seemed big and lonely, the human heart could reach across any distance and bring someone home.